WCIA 3 News at 6.
That's what Sonia did. She called for help, you all. Yes. And she was murdered in her own home.
Those were words spoken by Sonia Massey's family and those supporters. Indeed, minutes after a verdict was announced for the man who shot their daughter. Good evening. I'm Kelly Finley in for Brandon.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. Former Deputy Sean Grayson was found guilty of second-degree murder. The jury reaching that decision after more than 11 hours of deliberations and over a year since Massey was killed in her home. WCIA 3's Brandon Morano is live from Peoria now. Brandon, set the scene for us.
Jennifer, I asked Sonia Massey's father, James Wilburn, today what he thinks that Sonia would have said if she was alive today. He told me, quote, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and that I love you, Dad," because that's how they were in their calls together. He called her a daddy's girl before tearing up. Now, the man that killed his daughter, Sean Grayson, has been convicted of second-degree murder. Massey's family doesn't see that as justice. From the time the jury got into the courtroom to the time the verdict was read was very brief. Judge Cadigan read the verdict, skipping over the first 3 counts of first-degree murder and going directly to the guilty verdict on second degree. The penalties for each are very different in Illinois. First-degree murder could have carried a sentence of decades to life in prison if the firearm enhancement was added. That didn't happen. Second-degree murder carries a sentence of anywhere from 4 to 20 years in the state of Illinois, meaning Grayson could be out in just a couple years' time or no time at all if he gets probation. That's something we brought up to civil rights attorney Antonio Romanucci, who says the family was hoping for a first-degree conviction, and now they're hoping for the max sentence. Massey's father, James Wilburn, also saying this afternoon, quote, "Sean Grayson should be able to walk out of prison when my daughter gets up and walks out of that burial vault." They added, their fight's not over. Here's more from Romanucci.
He had the power of a gun. He had the strength of a badge and a shield. And what did he do with that strength and power? He told Sonia, who was holding a pot, "I am going to shoot you in the face."
Now, Grayson's sentencing is scheduled for January 29th in Sangamon County, not here in Peoria County. That'll be at 9 a.m. in the Sangamon County Courthouse. Jennifer?
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. Now, from inside the courthouse to what's been happening outside since that verdict came down this afternoon, supporters of the Massey family have rallied outside since last week. At this trial today, these same groups gathered to hear Massey's family speak, and they reacted to the second-degree murder conviction.
WCIA 3's Amanda Brennan joins us now live from Peoria. Amanda, we heard from her cousin who shared that he was filled with rage after this verdict was given.
Kelly, correct. And right after that, he says, quote, "I will dedicate the rest of my life to dismantling the system that created this." Him and other members of the Massey family share a similar sentiment. Her father, James, says, quote, "There will be justice for Sean Grayson, maybe not in this life, but the next." He's upset Grayson was a law enforcement officer in Sangamon County to begin with. He wishes Grayson never had a badge or gun, but he says his joy now is knowing he'll see his daughter again. "Whenever the sun opens, I will see her again," he told the community today. Teresa Haley, Springfield's NAACP president, says this is not justice, and she is ready for a change in Illinois and across the country.
We have to continue to fight to change the laws because there's no justice. It's just us. And we are tired of standing alone.
Civil rights attorney Ben Crump and Antonio Romanucci says in part, quote, "While we believe Grayson's actions deserved a first-degree conviction, today's verdict is still a measure of justice for Sonia Massey." Now, you can read that full statement on our website, as well as a full report on what has happened inside of the Peoria County Courthouse since last Monday up until that verdict was read today. Now, we've also brought you plenty of coverage regarding some protesters who have been outside of the courthouse. They are no longer here. They left when many family members left after that press conference earlier this afternoon. Reporting live in Peoria, I'm Amanda Brennan, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Amanda, thank you so much. We have an update now on the man who killed 2 women and hurt 3 others in a January hit-and-run crash in Urbana.
Julio Boll reached a plea deal with the Champaign County State's attorney. He will spend 30 years in prison. As part of the plea deal, his charges of reckless homicide were dropped. Instead, he was charged with aggravated DUI, causing death and bodily harm, and leaving the scene of a fatal and personal injury crash. WCIA 3's Peter Hansen is live in our newsroom. Peter, you talked to the father of one of the victims. Does he think this sentence is enough?
Jennifer, Katie Abraham was just 20 years old when she was killed in the January crash. I talked to her father, Joe. He tells me the plea deal doesn't feel like real justice for the damage caused to his family, but he's glad the trial process is finally over as he mourns his youngest daughter.
You know, we won't get to experience how she was going to evolve, and it was going to be just great things to see, and that's really painful.
Joe Abraham's daughter, Katie, was a sophomore at Ohio University visiting friends at the U of I in January. Their car was rear-ended by another vehicle going 78 miles per hour, killing Katie and 21-year-old Chloe Polson.
I'll never walk her down the aisle. She will never have children, right? We will never get to see her children. She'll never be an aunt.
The man who hit them, Julio Boll. He was driving drunk after going to 3 bars and had open cans of beer in his car. He's also a Guatemalan citizen in the U.S. illegally, something the Abraham family has been vocal about since Katie's death.
I would expect my state, my governor, to have enough competency to say, you know, we will accept new arrivals. However, we will do background checks. We will audit these folks. Because if that was the case, Julio Boll wouldn't have come into this state and Katie would be alive.
We reached out to Governor Pritzker's office to comment. We did not hear back. Abraham says he's not anti-immigration, calling his own family a family of immigrants. Instead, he says he's asking state legislators to create background checking measures. Abraham says it's so other families don't have to experience a loss that hurts as much as Katie's did.
And I'm not okay with my recourse just being 30-year sentence for the guy who killed Katie. I want to know who can I hold responsible from the state of Illinois?
Julio Boll is also involved in a federal case right now. Abraham tells me he hopes more jail time is added on when that trial is over. I reached out to Immigration and Customs Enforcement to see if Boll will serve his time in Illinois or if there are plans to relocate him. I didn't hear back from them either. Live in the newsroom, Peter Hansen, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Peter, thank you for that. In other news, 2 people were hurt in a crash this afternoon, one of them a Champaign County Sheriff's deputy. It happened near Route 45 and Airport Road in Savoy. Lanes were closed but opened up about an hour later. State police are investigating.
Federal cuts to some mental health resources in our state have been blocked. Why a judge says they were unconstitutional.
Plus, the governor is taking new action in the hopes of protecting farmers from tariffs. What executive order he signed today?
We are following breaking news out of Sangamon County tonight. 3 people have been found dead in a Springfield home. Police say it happened on Hoover Avenue near Foxbridge Road.
They responded to a report of a shooting there, and that's when they found the 3 victims. WCIA 3's Alex Whitney is live at the scene. Alex, what do we know right now?
Well, Jennifer, as you can see, a large police presence here behind me, and we're here on Hoover Avenue just east of Thomas Jefferson Middle School. Sangamon County Sheriff's Office says they were called to a home in this area just after 2:30 p.m. on reports of a shooting, and like you mentioned, the officers found 3 deceased individuals inside the home. That's all the information that we're getting right now from the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. I had a chance to speak with some neighbors here in the neighborhood that many affectionately call the Cabbage Patch, and they told me that they heard the commotion early this afternoon, and it was a short time after that commotion that law enforcement arrived on scene. But still very few details about what happened in really anything that happened this afternoon. We're still reaching out to the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office to get more information, and we'll share that with you as it becomes available. Reporting here at Hoover Avenue, Alex Whitney, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Alex, thank you so much.
And we will keep you updated on air and online as we learn more.
We have breaking news this evening. Fire crews are outside of a U of I dorm right now where officials say part of the building has fallen. With that, let's go to WCIA 3's Gabriela Mirando live at the Florida Avenue residence halls off of Kirby. So Gabby, set the scene for us.
Well, Amanda, this is a still very active scene. Right before we came on air, we watched someone being taken down in that piece of machinery. He was put on a stretcher in a neck brace wearing an orange shirt, matching that of some of the construction crews who were here, and he was driven away in an ambulance. Now, I got off the phone with Urbana Fire Chief Damon Dade, who tells me part of the residence wall fell off. It looks like there's some bricks missing there. He says there are workers who are stuck up there. He didn't say how many, but now several agencies are working to get them down, as you see. There are several agencies here on site right now. There's EMS, Urbana Fire Department. I saw U of I police as well, and there's also several bystanders who are just watching everything unfold and watching this piece of machinery go up and down, back up to the building. Again, this is still a very active scene that we're working to learn more on. Information is still limited at this time, and we're working to get more of that by the time of our next newscast, but I'll keep you posted, and I'll leave you with that for now. Amanda?
Gabriella, thank you so much. We'll see you at 5 and 6. Keep us posted.
Seems like this is a racetrack.
A highway is running through his town, and he says he's not surprised. A new survey shows it's one of the most dangerous in the state. Good evening. I'm Brandon Morano.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. That's not the only one either. The federal government's fatal crash database was recently updated. An insurance survey shows 4 central Illinois roads are among the 10 deadliest in the state. WCIA 3's Peter Hansen live in Champaign. And Peter, you are standing in front of one of those.
Jennifer, I'm on I-74. The government database shows from 2019 to 2023, there were 33 deadly crashes. iSelect Insurance did the survey, looking at different states and countries' crash numbers. In fact, they say this one doesn't even compare to some of the other ones across central Illinois. In fact, the survey says I-55 was the deadliest road in the state. Right behind it was I-57. Both these roads had more than 100 deadly crashes in 5 years, more than Chicago's I-94, I-90, and I-294. The only highway on the list, US 45, which Thomasboro's fire chief says is a place he's responded to far too many crashes.
Especially when we're out there on the road with an incident, people, they don't seem to care. I've complained about that before, where people just in there on their phones or trying to videotape as they go by.
He says in his 40-plus years, he thinks his fire department has responded to dozens of crashes on Highway 45 alone, which was the 6th most deadly in the survey, and runs through Kankakee, Champaign, and Effingham. Now, I reached out to the Illinois Department of Transportation on the survey. They say they're always looking for ways to improve safety on the roads, but they're reminding you to drive safely, especially around work zones. In Champaign, Peter Hansen, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Okay, Peter, thank you so much for that.
County Fair is going strong in Urbana.
Gates open at 10 a.m. and tonight's big event is harness racing. Our Brandon Morano is live at the fair, set to do that tonight. How you feeling about this?
Well, Jennifer, I quickly realized what I signed up for after I saw the first race go around, and I'm a little less confident than I was about 5 to 10 minutes ago, but still think we'll give it a good ride out there. Join with me right now is Terry Limke, the Champaign County Fair president, and you were telling me this track actually trains horses year-round.
Yes, they do. Have a couple of our barns back here have harness horses in them all year round, and they train them 7 days a week out here.
But here we go. Okay, so there we go. I think we're getting ready. So they got them right there, got them all lined up. You can see them there on the drone. So here we go. So here in a second, as the car goes away, okay, so they keep them all there in front, obviously, and then the car will pull out. And so here we go at the start finish. Here they come. Let's see what happens. And ladies and gentlemen, and the famous saying, and they're off. Get that last
slingshot into the front.
And
go, 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 go.
Oh! I think he got second. All right, guys, back out here live. Here we are. Brandon, how exciting.
Hey, look at that.
Evan, thank you. Transfer portal season continues for Illinois football. We're going to take a look at one new addition to the Orange and Blue coming up in sports.
And we're a week into the new year. Are your resolutions holding up strong? If not, you are not alone. We have some company. We're going to tell you why.
A Central Illinois city wants to make sure everyone can enjoy time in the outdoors. What new accessibility projects they're working on right now.
And one after-school program is making sure its students can
shoot for the stars when it comes to their future, how they're making it happen with a little extraterrestrial help. AI data centers are spreading across the United States like wildfire, but not without some pushback. We'll tell you how many of these projects were canceled last year.
And a normal day at work turned into the surprise of a lifetime for one woman this week. We're going to show you how her son pulled it off. That's next.
Have you ever heard of an earworm? It's a tune so catchy that you just can't get it out of your head. Well, if not, we have some great examples for you. And they just may have a tie to your favorite station that you're watching right now. That is coming up from The Vault.
Major retailer Target is known for their white and red, but now they're going green. How you can benefit from a new recycling initiative.
We've all seen Superman in comic books and movies, but what about real-life heroes from the past? How one classroom is putting a twist on learning.
Illinois basketball on the road for another matchup in Big Ten play.
Tonight, the Illini taking on Northwestern, and WCIA 3's Tristan Thomas is live in Evanston with a preview. Tristan?
It's been a strong start so far to league play for the Illini, but multiple challenges await against Northwestern tonight at Welsh Ryan Arena. I'll have more on that next in sports.